So hope you're doing well. Before I go into the more thoughts about how to make a slide template, just a couple of things. If you have Netflix, we've been watching a lot of documentaries. Maybe watch American Factory. It won the Oscar for Best Picture. It is, about a American factory, obviously, or one that was formerly owned by GM and it's taken over by a Chinese firm and that makes auto glass. And you can see sort of there's some cultural adjustments, there's some issues about unionization, there's some issues about worker safety, things like that. American Factory, if you're interested. And then also, I've started to think about the culminating, and we've been working on that documentary, and as this continues, it's possible we won't be back in school. I mean, I really don't know what's going to happen, but I was thinking if you are able to do it safely, and work apart, go ahead and do that. I'm gonna sort of start thinking about what an alternative might be for people who want to do something individually. And just one thing I would suggest is, so there's a lot of interesting things happening right now we've never seen before. Yeah, people make quotes in the news. There's news articles. You might see a video clip. Start compiling some of the stuff that you've noticed about this, time in our lives, and just put it in a file, because I think there's going to be a way for you to reuse that for the culminating and later on in this course. So since there's a news article, uh, clip it, copy and paste it, video clip, rip it, clip grab. Great way to rip YouTube videos for free. And I'm not sure how to use it just yet. It's kind of maybe like when I have to cut film for basketball. I tag a whole bunch of things, and then later on when I come back and I look at pick and roll, okay, I have a whole bunch of pick and roll stuff, and it's there. And if something like rebounding and I decide not to use it, then I have lost a little bit of that time. But by tagging everything at once, by sort of saving things as I see them, I feel overall, I save a lot of time. I can't guarantee that everything any photos you save or any articles you save, you'll find a way to use them. But I think, if you do start collecting a little bit of a portfolio, there might be a way for you to sort of put your thoughts together in this course and get a mark. Anyways, let's go to the slides. So, again, why are we doing this? Well, I think as teachers, we see many of the same templates, and you want to get your work when you are in grade 11 and 12 to be something only you can do, not something that anyone can do. Because if it's something only you can do, then as in business, you have a fair amount of value. Here's someone who used for the retail psychology, they used sort of their own template, not like it was the world's best template. It was just a little different, same color scheme as all of their photos. And, it made a very, very smooth and engaging presentation. Here you can see, it kind of, I don't know, just looks smooth, just looks, professional, simple, just a little bit different, not totally different, but just something that only they could do. And again, it adds value and it makes it stand out, because, we see so many presentations these days. Hopefully you might be watching, Mario Cuomo's presentations, as the governor of New York. He's very organized, his visual aids, it really stands out and creates this impression that he's knowledgeable and he's under control. And that's why we want your presentation skills to be excellent. And part of business is, being efficient. And I'm not saying copy this, because honestly, as teachers, as we know what the main core Google slide layouts are, we also are getting familiar with this site. And we're also able to search an image and find the same content online, sort of a reverse image search. And so just don't take one of these. But maybe it's a starting point. Maybe there's a good element to it that fits in with who you want to be. Like we've talked about color schemes, we've talked about fonts, we've talked about your brand identification. You know, maybe it's like if you're an artistic person, this one here with this little, you know, paintbrush swipe called Tybalt is the one for you, and some small changes to it would make it unique. You know, change the font, change the color schemes, keep that little paintbrush. It can be something that's sort of yours that stands out. Or, you know, if you like to think of yourself kind of as a professional person, you know, as a chance, you know, that is kind of an image here. Let's replace it with, you know, Toronto or something that's important to you. Let's change the color and the little clip art there so it's yours. But these can be a good way to save time. The website Slide Carnival with an S, slidescarnival.com. And, you know, if you don't remember, just Google Slide Carnival. And so let's click on this one. You know, they some of them are free, and so we're gonna, you know, click here and go to preview and download. Looks like it's going to be free, so I'll scroll down, and then, you know, if you're still using PowerPoint, you know, it has that option. And here's the a Google Slides theme. Make sure you're logged in your TDSB account. So many of these, I get people, they write them in their personal one, and then it's not totally shared. I have to request permission. Just always do it in your TDSB account. It'll make it easier to share it with all your coworkers and your teacher. So use as Google Slides theme. So, you know, it's just gonna, you know, give me a chance to proofread it, whether I like the idea to it or, you know, not. And I'm gonna use the template. So, you know, here we are, and you can see, you know, in the left what it's like, and I'm going to make a copy. Start off by making a copy, file, entire presentation. Give it a clear name. And then if I go to my drive, firstly, like I always like to keep the original. I don't know, it's a little quirk. And then here's my other, you know, example. And so, you know, here's the original. I'm just going to close that. You know, I always like keeping different drafts. You know, if you change something, you might want to go back and get it. So I'm going to close this, and I'm going to make sure I work in the new one. So, you know, edit some of this, you know, right? We don't need all 25 of these. So, you know, you need a text one, you need a title one, you need a chapter heading, you need a quote, you know, stuff like that. You know, you know what you will need. And so get rid of the other stuff. Don't just leave it at the end of your document. I'm going to select everything. Now I'm going to delete it. I'm just going to work on the first one. So again, I go to Slide, Edit Master, and I'll just say, you know, okay, you can see all the different layouts here. Again, you don't need all of these layouts. So if you say, you know what, this font, it's got to go. I don't like this little handwriting font. I want to change it in every one of the fonts. Then, you know, go here. Let's, you know, I'll change it. I'll make it a little, like, you know, just a different style. And, you know, so what you can see is that change has gone through all of the slides. So I edited this first master one. So if I hadn't done that, I clicked Control Z to undo that. Let's say I go to the text slide, and then I'm changing, then I'm here, you know, I'm selecting. I have a new mouse, and, you know, I'm not, sometimes getting used to my, you know, cumbersome fingers. Let's say that I select just this, change it to that same other font, and you'll see that I only changed that one line of text. So if you wanted to change every font in the document, go to this first one, the master, hit Control A, make the change, and then here I want to change the master title style, something that will go with it as well, but maybe be a little bit different. We'll just go with impact for now, and then hey, it's kind of, I'm starting a different tone. So let's say you don't need a quote. You're deciding you're not going to do a quote. Just select it and delete it. You do need a text one. So you don't, do you want the dark one? Do you want the light one? Again, you decide what you need. We don't need to submit everything. And here, this one could be for your image, and there I've removed all the extra just by pressing the delete key. And then when anyways, so we mentioned, hey, this purple, it's not part of my brand identity. Let's switch it. So here under background, I can go choose an image. I didn't have a lot of images queued up before this demonstration. Here we go. We have one for our huddle from the Canada Games team. That can be an image that we use. I decide that, hey, so you notice, hey, it has this little this was an artistic one to begin with, and this kind of this I just see what's going on. Oh, there's this kind of filter for paintbrush drops or something. That's not for me. I'm gonna delete that. And then as like this little color thing, this paintbrush thing, I don't think that's here. I want everyone to see the image. I'm just going to lower it a little bit. You can see this little red lines activating. Things are centered. Just going to shrink the font a little bit, and now my title slide, when I want to work on it, you can already see it's starting to change. And now might be a good time to start changing my color scheme. We have this red image. Let's put red in as our font here. And so now that I've done this, I need to start editing this background. But again, let's say colors. I don't know what I want right now. Background. Let's it gives you different gradient options. I'll just go with a plain gradient for now. Again, it's whatever you feel is authentically you. So that's sort of the background of the slides, and so you might want to adjust the background. So hey, that you noticed I was in master, it changed the background for all of them. Let's say that what I wanted here for the background was this kind of a red gradient. And then on this slide, I wanted the gray one. You can do it one by one if you want, and because they're all different versions of a gradient, it's kind of still going to fit together. Again, I'm just modifying, what was initially there and kind of giving it that sort of personalized touch. Now, let's say you want to change all of the colors. Well, it has some ones that are pre-assigned. Okay, for this one, for the text, it's mostly going to be black, white. This is pretty standard. But let's say I wanted to switch this up. Okay, well actually it's not black, it's a slight version of purple. If I want to change the color on every slide, I want to be working in colors, and then here I am. I'm going to change it to say like a dark red. And then see this accent one, we don't want accent one to be, purple anymore. We're switching the color scheme to red. I'm gonna, switch accent one to red. What I'm going to do is, this slide master color, I'm going to, I don't know what I want to do with it. I'll change it to, this one, let's say we'll change it to this gray here. And, you can see, hey, I've already, started changing my template. And, any time in the presentation where this slide appears, it'll be, changed like this. And, this isn't ideal, but hey, it's a quick way to do it. And you can use something from Slides Carnival, or you can use, one of the templates, modify it. You know about branding, so change the font. Again, slide, edit master. So you know about colors. You know what your favorite colors are, contrasting colors, complementary colors, analogous color schemes. So click on color and, change up the color scheme so that it follows good brand identification. If you prefer, square shapes, put your square and your rectangles and your lines in there. If you prefer something more artistic, see if there's something, cursive or something, that's round, or another kind of clip art that can go in there. Put your logo in there. Let's say, that on every slide, say on this title, I want people to know, hey, it's done by me. I'm going to insert, an image, drive, see what comes up when I search for logo. Can I get my logo, quickly? Oh, that's for my club team. Sorry, I'll do that. Logo again. I don't know, I'll just go with the North Toronto logo. Put that in the corner. Oops. And there, every time someone wants, every time there's a title, see, it's going to have that same basic information. So let's say I need a new, let's say I want a new section title. I just, insert, you see everything's been changed. And, I don't have to do any adjustments after I start. Hopefully that gives you again the idea of how you go about editing this and how you can save yourself some time.